Welcome to Cuckoo Crazy Crochet. Hi, my name is Ronnie, and today we will be making this Jack Skellington Lovey. And this is what you'll need. You'll need darning needle, a few stitch markers, a pair of scissors, a 5mm hook, some black yarn, some white yarn, and for this one I've chose to use some charcoal black yarn for his body. Get whatever color you're going to use for the body and your 5mm hook, and we'll begin. First, we need to begin with a magic ring. In this magic ring, you're going to chain 3. With 2 double crochets. We're going to call this our shell. Chain 2. 3 double crochets. Whoops. Chain 2. You will need a total of 6 of these shells in your magic loop. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you have your 6 shells completed, you can go ahead and close up your magic ring. Normally I would chain 2 before joining them, but I want to stay in the corner space, so I'm going to do a half a double crochet instead of a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. And this way we will be able to stay in the corner. Round 2, chain 3. In that same corner, we're going to do 2 double crochets. In the following chain 2 space, which is a corner, we're going to put a shell, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, and another shell, which is 3 double crochets, all in the same spot. That's what you do for each corner. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 more corners to do the same way. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and I'll meet you back up when I'm done with my 4th one. Okay, I'm done with the 4th corner, well, 5th corner. We need to then put 3 double crochets in this last corner. And you can chain 2 if you want, but I'm going to put a half a double crochet in the top of the chain 3. And you should have something that looks like this. For round 3 and throughout, which you will need 6 rounds of this, you will chain 3 at the beginning with 2 double crochets in that space. So you do half of the corner here, and then when you go around and come back, you'll do the rest of the other half of the corner at the end. In the next space, you'll put 3 double crochets, in the corner spaces, you will put 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Do this all the way around, and I'll meet back up to finish the last corner with you. Okay, we've come to the end of round 3. Just need to put 3 double crochets in that last corner. And you can either do chain 2 or half a double into the top of the chain 3 to finish the round. And this is what you should have so far. For round 3, no, we already did 3, I'm sorry. For rounds 4, 5, and 6, in each space, like here and here, on the sides, you'll put 3 double crochets. In each corner, you'll put 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. When I have my 6 rounds done, I will be back. I think it's worth mentioning that right now is the best time to take your tail from your magic ring and go ahead and weave it in. Then that way you don't have to worry about it at the end. So what I do is just go underneath the double crochets around the magic ring. This also tightens your hole just a little bit, closes it a little bit further. Then when you get around, just fasten it off. Okay, I've finished my 6 rounds. Now I'm going to chain 2, slip stitch into the 3rd chain, don't fasten off your yarn because we're not done with it yet. I'm going to flatten this out just a little, and then I'm going to fold it. Fold this corner and this corner together, and you should have an L shape. Let's fold it the other way so the right side's out. And after doing that, I like to take a few stitch markers and put one in each corner to hold it together. Okay, maybe not in this corner. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put stitch marker in this corner. Won't stay there very long. So now all we need to do is chain up 3. And we're going to put 2 double crochets in that first corner. We're not going to do any chaining besides the first chain 3 on every round. In each space, we're going to put 3 double crochets. Go completely around this bottom section. These are going to be the legs. You get to this corner spot, you can take out the stitch marker. We're going to put 3 double crochet in there. Then we're going to slip stitch to the top of this chain 3. Make sure your tension is tight. I'm going to chain 3. And in this little space here, we're going to put 2 double crochets. And we're just going to repeat it all the way around. for a total of 5 rounds. We've done the one and we're on our second round, so you have rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5. And when I'm done with my 5 rounds, I'll be back. Okay, I finished my 5 rows. If you have lost your place and you don't know how to count your rows on the leg, just come to the opening. Right, here's your first round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just count it diagonally, and that's how many rows you got. So now what we're going to do, we're not going to fasten off. Instead, we're going to slip stitch our way to the end. Make sure your end is flat together. And we're going to start at the end and slip stitch. You're going to slip stitch it together. Your first one is always tricky. And then just make sure you get each stitch and slip stitch it together all the way to the end. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to hit that. Two V's from the first side, 2 V's from the second side, 1 V from the first side and 1 V from the second side. Don't know what I was thinking. All the way to the end. And then now we're going to go ahead and fasten off. Then we're going to come up here and we're going to slip stitch the shoulder together. We're going to start in the very first double crochet. Let's see. Here's your shell. Here's your corner. That very first double crochet right there. That's where we're going to start. We're going to go in the back loop of this side and the front loop of this side. And we're going to slip stitch this together. And I'll meet you at the end. Okay, once you get around the corner, we're going to slip stitch it together like we did the leg. I'm going to put the two V's, one V from one side and one V from the other side, and we're going to slip stitch it together. Make sure you go underneath that stitch and crochet it together to the end. Then you can fasten off. So now you have something that looks like this. You have an L. You need to make another one. You need to have two of these exactly the same. I'm going to fasten in, I'm going to weave in what ends I have now, and when I come back we're going to put the hands and the feet on, and then we'll crochet these together. I'll be back. Okay, I just realized you will need some fiber fill for this project. Don't know what I was thinking. I always forget something. I hope that changes someday. Okay, so we're going to do the hands and the feet. And for the hands, you're going to want to do that in white. And for the feet, you're going to want to do that in black. But it's done the same way. So you make a slip stitch on your hook. Let's see if we can zoom in just a little. And starting at one end, we're going to go, if you can tell where we've done the slip stitch, there's going to be a V in every stitch all the way around. There will be a V, and that's what we're going to work into. So we're going to make one single crochet in each of those V's. Whoops. And then you turn your work and you find the V's on the other side. And these might be a little tighter. And we're just going to find it and make a single crochet in each one around. we're not going to slip stitch into this first one. We're going to make a single crochet. And then we're going to put stitch marker in that first one. So now what you'll want to do, this is what you should have so far. Yes, it looks a little dorky, but it works. For the next 6 rounds, you're going to keep going, just round and around and around. When you hit the stitch marker, remove it, put your single crochet in and replace it. And when I get done with my 6 rounds, I'll be back to show you what else to do. Once you have your 6 rows done, this is what it looks like. So now for the decrease rows. We're going to put 1 single crochet in the next stitch and a single crochet decrease. This is a repeat for all the way around. 1 single crochet in the next stitch and then a single crochet decrease. 1 single crochet in the next stitch and a single crochet decrease. You do this all the way around and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, once you get to the end of that round, we're going to stuff it. Make sure you don't get it overfilled. But I like to stuff it until it's firm. That should be good. This is the last row. And we're just going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch and a single crochet decrease. Repeat that pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then a single crochet decrease. And I'll meet you at the end. Once I'm at the end, I do slip stitch into the next stitch. And then I'll leave a long tail for sewing. If you decide that you need more stuffing, now is the time to put the stuffing in. So now we're just going to go in and out of the stitches. Until we're clear around. Pull tight. That should close up that hole. I like to put a knot right here. Make sure that hole stays closed. And then just hide your yarn in your work. I'll fasten that off in a minute. Then I take my other yarn tail and I hide it in my work too. Try not to split your yarn. It will mess up your work. Once you're satisfied with both your tail ends, pull tight, cut them off. So this is what your hand looks like. And you want to repeat this for the other hand and both of the feet. And when I get mine done, I will return. Okay, once you have both parts done, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take these stitch markers out again. Let's get these up here. We're going to take the sides, or the front and the back, and we're going to fasten these together. You just put them in the corners, and then that way I know where I'm at. Hold it together a little easier. I have a runny nose. Hope I'm not catching a cold. Now we're going to sew the body together. Okay, so take your, take your body yarn and make a slip knot. We're going to sew this together like we crocheted the arms together. We're going to start at the top. Right here is the top hole, and I'm just going to go in the back loop of this first piece and the front loop of the second piece. And we're going to slip stitch it together. Just take your time, make sure you get each stitch. I'll finish and get down to here, and then I'll be back to show you what's next. Okay, so once you get down to the stitch marker, we're just going to take the stitch marker out. We need to sew, crochet together underneath or between the legs, because if you don't, you'll have a big hole. Okay, so this other stitch marker here, it indicates where the beginning is, or where the other side is. So I'm just going to sew up this hole, and I'll be back when I get to the other side. Okay, I've made it back around onto the other side. And we're just going to slip stitch like we did the other side in the back loop of the first side and the front loop of the second side. I know with this black it's really hard to see, but I do have Easter Lovey coming, and it will be a lot brighter, and you'll be able to tell more of what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to keep slip stitching these together. Right here is my top hole, my top corner, but I am going to stop at the space before it, and when I get there, I'll be back. Okay, once you get to the top, then you can fasten off. If you push on the place where you just slip stitched, it will go down. In your body. Let's zoom out a little bit. This is what your body should look like so far. So the body's done. We can go ahead and set it aside. Get out your black yarn, and we'll move on to the bow tie, the spider bow tie, and his eyes. Alright, time to make the eyes. Need a slip stitch, or slip knot, I'm sorry, and chain 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to make a single crochet, and then a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. In the last chain, we're going to put 2 single crochets. Then we're going to work back up the other side, and we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. And the last one, we're going to put 2. Then we're going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet and chain 1. In that very first single crochet where you slip stitched, we're going to put 2 single crochets. Now put 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. In the next 2 stitches, 2 single crochets. In the next 4 stitches, 1 single crochet. In the last 2 stitches, 2 single crochet. And then slip stitch into your first single crochet. And that's round 2. This is your final round. Chain 1. In this first stitch, we're just going to put 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. Now we're going to put 2 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. And 2 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. Slip stitch into your first single crochet. Fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. And this is what your eye should look like. When I get it done, I pull on it. You need to have 2 of these. So pause here and make another one. Next up is the spider bow tie. For the spider bow tie, you need to make a magic circle with 8 single crochets. Once you have 8, you can close your magic circle. For rounds 2 and 3, we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. At the end of each row, you should have 8 single crochets. What I like to do is I like to count to 8 for the second one, and then count to 8 again for the third one. And when I get done with my third row, I'll be back. Once you get your 3 rows done, you need to turn your body right side out. And now we're going to make his legs. So slip stitch into the next stitch and then chain 8. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to slip stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch all the way down the leg. Once you've slip stitched in all of the chains, you slip stitch right back into the same spot where you put the first slip stitch. Then you slip stitch into the next stitch and chain 8. Go ahead and make this leg and the third leg, and I'll be back. Once you're done with your third leg, slip stitch into the next stitch and the next stitch. And the third stitch. Then chain 8. And we're going to work our 3 legs here. When you get done, you should have 1 stitch left. Slip stitch into it, fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing, and I'll be back. Your spider should look something like this. I like to stretch his legs out when I get him done. Now let's get our white yarn out. We just need a little bit. And we're going to sew him some eyes. So the part where we left off, where our tail is, we're going to put that in the back. We're going to go in from underneath and just give him an eye. And then one on the other side. There, now it looks all creepy. Then what I do is I take my 2 white ends, I make a double knot, and then I cut it off close. Then this guy is done. We can put him aside, get out our white yarn and our crochet hook again, and we'll do his head. Okay, once you got your white yarn ready, you need to make a magic ring. With 6 single crochets in the magic ring. Once you got your 6, close up your magic ring. For round 2, we're just going to put 2 single crochets in each of the 6 stitches around. One, 2, 3, 4, whoops, I'm sorry about that. 5. You should now have 12 stitches around. I'm going to put a stitch marker in the last single crochet I did. Round 3. 1 single crochet in the next stitch and 2 single crochets in the following. This is your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet in the next stitch and 2 single crochet in the following stitch. One single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and the last stitch should be getting 2 single crochet. You should now have 18 stitches all the way around. Round 4, 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. In the third stitch, 2 single crochet. This is your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then in the third stitch, 2 single crochet. You now should have 24 stitches. Round 5, 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and in the fourth stitch, 2 single crochets. This is your repeat all the way around. 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and in the fourth stitch, 2 single crochets. You now should have 30 stitches. Round 6. 1 single crochet. Sorry about that, that was my phone. In the next 4 stitches, and in the 5th stitch, 2 single crochet. This is your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and in the 5th stitch, 2 single crochets. You should have 36 stitches. Round 7, 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, in your 6th stitch, 2 single crochets. That's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and 2 single crochets in the 6th. You should now have 42 stitches. And this is what your work should look like so far. For the next 10 rounds, rows 8 through 18, you should be putting just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. At the end of each round, you should still have 42 stitches. If you lose your way, you go on the right hand side of your stitch marker and you start from the middle and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There should be 7 rows. The row you're working on is row number 8. When I get my 18 rows done, I'll be back. Okay, after you finish your 18 rounds, this is what you should have so far. Round 19. Now it's time to start the decreases. So we're going to single crochet 1 time in the next 5 stitches. And then single crochet decrease, So this is your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then a single crochet decrease. You should now have 36 stitches. Round 20, one single crochet in the next 2 stitches, then a single crochet decrease. This is your repeat. One single crochet in the next 2 stitches, then a single crochet decrease. You should now have 27 stitches. Row 21. One single crochet in the next stitch, then a single crochet decrease. This is your repeat all the way around. One single crochet in the next stitch, then a single crochet decrease. You should now have 18 stitches all the way around. Row 22. One single crochet in the next stitch, then a single crochet decrease. This is your repeat for this round. One single crochet in the next stitch, then a single crochet decrease. You should now have 12 stitches. Now it's time to stuff the head. You can put as much stuffing in it as you want, but I prefer to have my amigurumis firm. So I'm going to finish stuffing the head, and I'll be back to show you what's next. Okay, this is what your head should look like so far. Now it's time to make the neck. So now we're just going to put one single crochet in each stitch around for 5 rounds. At the end of each row, you should still have 12 stitches. I now have 4 more rounds to do. So when I get my rounds done, I'll be back. Okay. Last row. All we're going to do is put a single decrease in every 2 stitches around. When you're done, you need to fasten off, leaving a little tail to sew in the end and hide your yarn. Before we do that, we need to stuff it. I'll finish stuffing it and I'll be back. Okay, once it's all stuffed, we're going to close up the head and the neck. And I just take my yarn and I weave it in and out between the spaces. All the way around. Once I get back to the beginning, I just pull tight and it closes. So now I'm going to put a knot in right here. And we're going to hide the yarn. Make sure you don't split your work because it will show. Whatever hole I come up, I go down the same hole through the stuffing and add another hole. And once I've gotten it hidden good enough, I pull tight and cut the yarn. That will suck it back into the head. And this is what you should have. So get your eyes ready and we'll put the face on. And you just go right back down beside the eye and come out another hole. And I pull tight with it being Jack Skellington. His eyes are sunken in. So the tighter you pull, the more sunken in it'll appear. And this is all you do all the way around the eye. See how it's sinking in? I don't know if you can tell. Maybe if I tone the light down you can tell. There you can tell. It's sunken down in here. Well, I'm going to put this eye on and the second eye, and when I'm about done with the second eye, I'll be back. Okay, this is how my first eye looks. You can see that it's sunken in all the way around, and it has raised up right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this other eye right here beside it. What I do is I find where I ended at up here on the white, and then I just follow my finger around and I line it up with the eye. So I'll do the second eye and then I'll be back. Okay, once you get his eyes on, that's what it looks like with his eyes. You need to put some black yarn on your needle. We're going to go in from the side. We're going to do his nose. So we're going to go up and get my needle in here. Don't forget to leave a little tail for hiding the yarn later. Okay, from the bottom of his eyes, I went up to the third row. And I'm going to come down here. I skipped one hole. I went into the second hole. And then we'll do the same over here. So I went kitty corner down. Right here is the line where our eyes end. I'm going to do that on the same side over here. And we're going to come clear over here to start the mouth. Sorry, I don't mean to keep knocking, bumping the camera. Okay, so there's what his nose should look like. And we came over 3 holes from the eye. We're going to drag this over and go 3 holes from the eye on this side. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come out down by the mouth. Make sure you got it tight enough. Now we're going to put lines in. Just a few. So everybody knows he's a skeleton. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, something like that. Maybe I'll make this go out one more. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Okay. Back to his smile. Alright, that looks better. I'm going to put a little one right here. So once you're happy with the face, you need to knot these two ends together and do what we always do. Cut off the excess yarn and hide the ends, and I'll be back when mine are hidden. Okay, so this is what his face should look like. His head. So get a little bit of your body yarn and your body. We're going to put the head on the body. It's up next. Okay. Now a little hole at the top, that's where your head's going to go. In the body. This will be the awkward part of this whole thing. So once you get him in there, make sure you have your head centered. You can put pins in it, or however you want to do it. Now we're just going to sew the head on. Starting here at the front. I go in through his body and through his neck, out through his neck, and out through his body. Then I'm going to leave a little tail to sew it, to tie on to the end when we're done. So then I back stitch, and go into the same thing. And I'm just going to follow his coat, well, his body. Just like this. And then every so often I'm going to find where the stitch is. And I'm going to go under the stitch, then under a stitch in his neck, and make sure that we're getting, just make sure that there's a stitch or two in his neck. And then go through, back through the body. Hope that made sense. Okay, so I'm going to work on this neck, first the front part of his neck. And when I get done, I'll be back to show you what it should look like. Okay, so this is what it should be looking like so far. So what you need to do is you just need to going all the way around his head. And you get around to the other side, double knot it here, and then hide your yarn. And when mine is done, I'll be back. Okay, once you get done, this is what your Jack Skellington should look like so far. And here's his head. All fastened on. Now, what you can do is you can leave the spot open, and it gives them kind of a shirt look. Or you can take the spider, which is what I'm going to do, and we can sew on his bow tie spider like that. So like always, I'm going to take this first end, and we're going to sew him into the head. Just to help hold it there. You can also pin him in place. And we can take a little bit of the stuffing and stuff the spider. Of course, that's all up to you, how you want to do it. I'm going to stuff the spider just a little so it pokes out. Then I'm going to put the yarn on my hook, on my needle. And I'm just going to sew him right here onto the body. It will be easy to get your legs stuck in your yarn, so be careful of that. Gonna finish putting this on and I'll be back. Okay, once you get your spider neck, your spider bow tie sewn on, you might want to just fluff up the body, pull on the legs. No, you can't really tell here, but he's really cute. There's the bow. And that's all there is to it. Okay, so here's what he looks like. All done. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like this video. You may share this video and any video of mine that you want. Thank you for watching this video and sticking with me even though we had a bad month last month. I'm still here. I'm still making videos, and I will continue. My future videos will include an Easter bag and an Easter lovey, so be on the watch out for that. I do have a stained glass Afghan that I'm working on, and I will be uploading the video just as soon as I can get it done. Until next time, be safe out there. Bye.